The guy's name is Ross Ulbricht. You probably don't know that name. Probably doesn't ring a bell. But his website will. Silk Road. You've probably heard of that. You've probably heard all kinds of things about that. Most of them aren't true. But what was Silk Road? Well, it turned into eBay for drugs. I mean, that's really what it turned into. But what was it supposed to be? In Ross's own words, it was supposed to be about giving people the freedom to make their own choices, to pursue their own happiness, however they individually saw fit. Consenting adults can do whatever. No victim, no crime. That's what it was supposed to be. A little idealistic. He called himself naive later. What did he get for his efforts? 2 life sentences plus 40 years for a first-time nonviolent offender. It's insane. It is insane. Brings up the question, is prison about rehabilitation or punishment? If it's about punishment, we got to let him out because the punishment does not fit the crime. If it's about rehabilitation, we need to take some other things into consideration. I never met the guy. I haven't. I know some of his friends. And I mean no offense when I say this, but I've read a lot of the things that he's written and said. He strikes me as a nerdy Eagle Scout that would build a website based on an idea. That's how he strikes me. And now he is staring down the barrel of 2 life sentences plus 40 years in a federal prison. He's the very definition of scared straight. This guy is not going to reoffend. He's not a danger to society. He never was. He was a nonviolent offender. When people talk about the case and they say free Ross, they talk about the case. They don't talk about him. They talk about the case because it's interesting. Let's just say there were some irregularities in it. His sentence heavily relied on things that he was charged with but never convicted of. And then after his sentence, well, those charges were dismissed with prejudice. Some of the agents on his case wound up going to prison. I don't have to go through all of this because you guys are you guys. You're going to go over to freeross.org and you're going to read about it because there's a whole lot more crazy stuff than that. It's an interesting read. It is. But it's not relevant to Think a Criminal Day. Not really. What is that when we finally accept the idea that if there is no victim, there is no crime, when that becomes enshrined in our thought, and we understand that people can just be left alone, we're going to have to look back at a kid who built a website at 26 years old, who wound up getting 2 life sentences plus 40 years for an idea. We're going to have to recognize him as one of those thought changers, as one of those people who made this possible, who made that idea come forward. He's going to be one of those people that we look back at and say, that guy paid the price. The problem is, the price we're asking him to pay is too high. It is too high. Life in the federal system means life. It's not like the state system where you get a life sentence and you can get out. There's no number year that coincides with that. Life means life. There's a petition over on freeross.org, a little red bar up at the top. I want to say right now it's at 195,000, something like that. They're trying to get to 200,000. If he isn't granted clemency, he will die in a cage. He won't get out. He won't get out. that's a little much for a website. That's a little much.